and that's just compromises the firewall.
Right. For
And-
the most part, it can allow carbon monoxide gases to enter into the HVAC system. They can be sealed off. I'm not sure. At the time the place was built, it may have been conforming,
Yeah.
but the codes and standards
Yeah,
change
sure.
over time, and it wouldn't be conforming to today's standards.
Oh, okay.
So, I know this place was built, I believe it was 2007
Yeah.
that it was built, yeah. So, we've got that. One other thing, just a minor thing here, we've got some stuff like this door,
Yeah.
we've got this dishwasher is functioning properly, but it's not mounted. Like, we're missing mounting screws. So when you're pulling that door open, we don't have a secure mount there and that. So that would be
All
one
right.
thing. Which again, in my
Yeah.
opinion, is a handyman issue, that kind of thing. I notated under here, that's the dishwasher supply line. There's some tape on there. I'm not sure if it's doing anything because it's not leaking.
Okay.
And if it was leaking, I mean, it would be pretty apparent there in that supply line. So I don't think it's leaking or anything, but I notated it, hey, why do we have electrical tape there? So, the range here, we're missing that anti-tip safety bracket.
Oh.
And it just installs at the bottom. So in other words, this is more of a safety feature if you have children or something.
Yeah.
If they step on this can tip over on the range can tip. So we did test the stove, everything looks good. We thermaled it, make sure we got good heat coming
Okay.
from it and that kind of thing. Tested the microwave. Cabinets are fine. There's some cosmetic things.
Yeah, we saw that one.
Right. And then we have, of course, a couple of drawers in the bathroom. I mean, there's some, some staining, which is not untypical to see. The homes are lived in, We did ensure that we had all the proper safety outlets. Those have all been tested, interior and exterior, kitchen, bath, that kind of thing, outside, all the way around garage as well.
I don't know.
Looks like there they had a picture
Yeah.
on there and just painted around it rather than move it.
Yeah.
Take the
Okay.
easy way. The one thing, there's a couple things in here. Now, I noticed it looks like some moisture staining here. I did test that with a moisture meter, and we did have like a good bit of rain today, and it did not have any excess moisture. My thoughts are perhaps they had the door open at one time to let some air in and maybe some water
Okay.
out that way. One other thing, we do have a door that's just a little bit out of plumb, so we have some daylight showing. Again, not a major deal, but something that I would recommend getting a handyman adjust. You can see down here where it's rubbing on the bottom end as well. So
Oh, okay.
and we have all that documented as well too.
All right.
So one other thing, we've got some settlement cracks here and here. In my professional opinion, I don't imagine them being consequential based on what I see elsewhere in the house and up
Okay.
in the attic as well. It happens a lot of times with these tray ceilings. I see it, in many different homes. If it was a major significant settlement issue, we would see more along the lines above the windows and doors, and we would see it in multiple areas in the
Okay.
house. And again, in the attic, I would see separation, within some of the framing members on a slab foundation too. So and I
Okay.
didn't see any of that. So,
Okay, good.
so that, in my opinion, is just typical drywall settlement there.
Oh, okay.
So let's go over my list. There were some leaves in the gutters. The rain was light this morning, so I was actually able to fly the drone up there and take a good look at all the penetrations. Also, good news is when it rains like this, when I'm in the attic, I can get a really good visual on if there's any leaks or
Oh, yeah.
anything coming through there too. So we didn't find any of that, so that's good. I didn't see any missing shingles or excess granular loss, on the roof.
Okay, good.
The nail heads on the penetration boots weren't exposed or anything, so looks good up there. Particularly around here, I paid a lot of attention to these have a tendency on some homes to leak.
Yeah.
So I looked at it with a drone. We also had the thermal imaging on there as well to see if we could see any temperature differential that would indicate moisture coming in, to these skylights. But I didn't see any
Okay.
of that. So that's a
Good.
that's a win. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. The disconnect for the exterior HVAC system outside on the wall, the little cover plate has displaced. It's fallen
Okay.
out of it. I mean, that's a handyman item. I mean, you don't want to put your hands in there and get electrocuted.
Yeah.
Or anything. So certainly we'll want to have someone knowledgeable on how to replace that to replace it. But I mean, it's pretty easy.
Okay.
Pretty easy fix there. The front hose bed, the hose connection, this particular one doesn't have the anti-siphon attachment on it, which prevents backflow, basically, of water to get back into the supply system. So that's a recommendation. It's literally maybe a $5 part
Oh,
to
okay.
have that installed on there. But we do want to have those. Couple of downspouts. They're all in great shape. They're connected very well. We had a couple of them that were terminating closer to the foundation than we'd like to see. We like to run those out 4 to 5 feet, if possible, away from the foundation.
Okay.
No negligible consequence that I noticed, other than, you know, that's just kind of a maintenance thing.
Yeah.
So this one here in particular, I've got a good picture of it,
Oh, okay.
but it appears it's a little loose, you know, with the tube connection on the downspout there. So, and with it going under the patio like that,
Yeah.
you know, ideally, you just want to make sure that that's a secure connection there, because it's real close. It wasn't leaking any water out that I saw when it was raining earlier this morning,
Okay.
which is good. But again, that's one of those maintenance recommendations.
Mhm.
I'd like to see it connected a little better. You know,
Okay.
and maybe that's nitpicky, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Front doorbell didn't work, unfortunately, and I don't know if that's wired into the home security system. I know they have a security
Oh.
system that was installed. I'm not sure if it's
Oh,
functional.
okay.
They have and I think the alarms are wired in as well. Carbon dioxide and smoke alarms. I did verify that those were in all the proper placements. We needed those, but yeah. So this doesn't even look powered on, and I don't usually mess with those. But yeah, this would be, you know, for your security and
Okay.
fire and alarm and that kind of thing. So.
Cool.
So yeah, and I would imagine that could be linked to the doorbell as well, which is maybe why we're not getting
Getting
functionality there. May not be, but I mean it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Go over all that. There's one place on the front of the home, and it's right where the veneer meets the siding. Looks like we're missing a little mortar. Just right where the brick is. So I'm going to recommend to have some mortar replaced right there, just to keep moisture from coming in behind
Okay.
and getting into the wall. So, although there was a moisture barrier there, I did see
Oh,
a
good.
moisture barrier. But it's one of those things, you know, for the long
Yeah.
term, it's
Yeah,
best
with
to have
water.
it taken care of. Yeah. Let's see. So the fan in here and the one in the living room are on dimmer switches. You know, typically when you have a fan on a dimmer switch, you want to make sure that it's a fan type dimmer switch. And this one does click, which would
Oh.
indicate to me that it is, but I really don't have any way
Okay.
of, you know, testing other than that without taking it out and looking at the model number.
Yeah.
As long as it's appropriate for a fan, it's fine. But, you know, that's just one of those things typically, unless it's for a fan, you don't want to have
Yeah.
the proper dimmer on there because it can overheat. Having said that, when I ran the thermal, had them all going, didn't see any overheating breakers or switches.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, we use, like in a house we have now, we have an app on our phone. You leave the switches on
Yeah.
full, and then the app controls it.
I got you. Yeah.
So that's
And like
That
I
should
said,
be okay.
the biggest concern there would be overheating, but I didn't see any of that. But it's just one of those notable items anyway.
and you said this one and
This
one
one's
too.
this one's similar as well. Yeah. This light I couldn't get to work, and I don't know if it's just needs to be pulled or what, but I couldn't get that. This is for the exterior. Yeah, here's the exterior, and this would presumably be the light there.
Okay.
I mean, the fan's mounted well.
Okay.
I mean, I don't suspect we would have a major issue there.
Yeah.
I tested the fireplace, it's fine. I'm going to recommend going through the install instructions manual. I think that's what this was, yeah. For placement of the gas logs, they don't look like they're placed
Oh, okay.
correctly there. Not a big deal, but want to make sure that that kind of stuff's taken care of. Tested carbon monoxide meter out here, and it is venting properly, you know. So none of that's been that's the important stuff.
Yeah.
So. That's what I have. So the carpet, there are some cosmetic
Oh, yeah.
things, and generally I'll have like just a general notation of that in the report. But cosmetic issues, I mean, I generally don't go into
Yeah,
great
yeah.
detail on identifying and reporting exactly where they're at. I mean, you can see there's some.
Oh, yeah.
Need some paint. Need some
We're-
carpet
We're
things.
definitely reflooring and painting
Right.
before we move in, so.
Let's see. Whatever the dishwasher. Laundry door. Yeah, I think that was the bulk of it. Guess I went over that pretty quickly. Huh?
It's okay.
Have
And
a
it's,
fire hose of
yeah.
information.
but I mean, you have pictures and
Yeah,
descriptions.
so, and I've gotten videos of some of the things
Okay.
where it's applicable as well to have video.
Okay.
So, the report will have all that. I'm expecting, I've got another appointment after this one. I'm expecting to have the report by late this afternoon at
Okay.
the latest. So we'll have that published to you. It'll come to your email address. You'll get a text on your phone, and you'll have a link to go
Oh.
and to be able to view that. There's a couple different ways to view it. There's the long form of the report that's going to have all the maintenance suggestions and all the things, and then there's going to be there's a little button in the center. There's a summary version, to,
Okay.
you know, which will include all the bigger items that
Yeah.
would recommend to have attention to. Yeah.
But the important thing is the bathrooms all look fine, and
Plumbing,
the water and the
everything's
plumbing.
tested,
Okay.
You know, hot water temperature's a little low. I say low. Usually I see it around 118, 120. It was about 111, 112 when I tested the temp at the different supply fixtures. So but I mean that's something that that's more what your comfort level
Okay.
is to have that. So, but we do recommend to have the water heater to have it set at least. Or set at 120 to keep from bacterial growth.
Okay.
At the water heater itself.
And it's gas, and we just turn it up.
Yeah, yeah. And you have and that's another thing. The report, the long form will contain all the cutoff switches for the water, gas,
good,
electrical, that whole thing
Yeah.
as well. Yeah. So there'll be a lot of information in there, like I said. But
Okay, cool.
the most pertinent things that you would want to look at first of all would be in that summary view. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But I think that's
Great.
pretty much what we got.
Yeah.
We went through the whole thing. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. As an opinion, my bigger concern would be that supply register in the garage.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and even then, I wouldn't necessarily say that that's a major significant thing.
Yeah.
But it is something that needs to be addressed.
Okay, for code. Okay, well, we can tell them that'll be a bargaining chip.
Well, sure,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. However you
Yeah.
want to negotiate that. Yeah, we got thermal on all the supply registers, tested
Great.
the heating and cooling system to ensure all that was up to date. They actually did, to my surprise, I don't often see this, but I guess presumably it was reliable heating and air, but they did actually have someone come in and sign off that they had done maintenance just in October of this year.
Oh, okay.
On the HVAC system. So for what it's worth, it was filled out on the register
Okay.
on the HVAC unit in the attic. So
That's good.
Yeah, so that's about it.
Yeah.
When we get back, of course, we'll check ages of those systems and that kind of thing as well. So we'll
Okay.
have all that provided in the long report format too. So,
Cool.
but I think that's
right.
that's pretty much the whole deal. Like I said, lots